The Law Commission has released a report recommending the establishment of a new media body. The organisation is to be called the News Media Standards Authority and will cover complaints about traditional media. Here tonight to explain the reasons behind the change is Dr Erika Pearson, a senior lecturer in media and film communication from the University of Otago. Good evening, Erika.
Good evening.
What is the News Media Standard Authority?
This is a recommendation that has come out of a number of initiatives to take the standards governing of any type of news broadcasting away from individual standards authorities like the Press Council and the Broadcasting Standards Authority and link them together under one body. So instead of focusing on the way news is being delivered, whether it be newspapers or print online or video, it's more concerned with content. And this has come about because, as we've been seeing with the new media revolutions, television shows have been putting news content up in print, newspapers have websites with video on them, so we're seeing a kind of a convergence of news platforms, and there's concern that different types of platforms are being governed in different ways.
Will this mean the end for the Broadcasting Standards Authority and the Press Council?
The recommendation says that the Press Council should surrender most, if not all, of its function over to this new governing body, and that the Broadcasting Standards Authority should take control of issues of non-news, non-fiction programming like reality TV, and also fictional broadcasting, and hand over news content to the new organisation.
How's it likely, do you think, that the new system will work?
This is a little unclear because this report has only been tabled today. A lot of the fine details still haven't been discussed. But the recommendations suggest that a lot of this existing processes will still continue. So people can still make a complaint, it will go through a certain process, it will be resolved in a certain time period. The recommendation comes about so that there is consistency across the different platforms, so that, say, a blogger might be held to the same news accountability as a professional journalist on television or in print. So the process, hopefully, we're thinking, will be very similar to what people are used to, but instead of having to try and decide for themselves which standards authority to approach depending on the platform, we'll now see standards all being centralised in one governing body. And this is really interesting with the rise of blogging, because it means that even if you do not consider yourself a professional journalist, if you would like privileges, or if you consider yourself to be delivering news content, bloggers can now be held to the same accountability as journalists. And in doing so, in signing up to this, they also get certain rights to call themselves a news blogger and access to certain news sources, for example.
How are bloggers getting on currently?
Currently, there's a lot of lack of confidence, if you like, about what a blogger is. And some bloggers are using this to hide behind. They say, yes, we're a news organisation, no, we're not. So yes, we are when we want a press pass, and no, we're not when we're held to account. So what this will do is say, well, you can either be one or the other. You can be a commentating blogger and then you're just a private citizen, or you can be providing actual news content, in which case you must be held to a certain standard of account.
Are there more complaints about traditional news media than there have been previously?
Statistics about this aren't really quite clear-cut, and again, it's because news has become such a broad field. Historically, news was a journalist with a hat and a press pass who went out and filed stories, whereas now news can be delivered 24 hours a day. We've got rolling news cycles, we've got news being delivered across multiple platforms simultaneously, so a journalist might have to do a video story and a press story and an online video story. And so there's been a change in the news landscape, and so this suggestion is arguing that this is a way to keep up with these changes in technology and in format.
When are we likely to see the implementation of this new authority?
Well, it's only been released today, this report, so it's still got to be tabled to Parliament. Now, this board would not have statutory authority, so it wouldn't need an Act of Parliament to come into existence. However, it would require changes to existing laws, such as the Broadcasting Standards laws.
From the University of Otago, Dr Erika Pearson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.